They laugh at you, dismiss you, look right through you as if you don't exist. That's their first mistake. They assume you're weak because you don't seek attention. They assume you're harmless because you don't announce your every move. But what they fail to realize is that the quiet ones, the underestimated ones, are the most dangerous of all. Because when people think you're weak, they get sloppy. They lower their guard, they reveal their secrets, and they hand you every advantage without even knowing it. Arrogance makes them blind. They stop paying attention. They underestimate your patience, your intelligence, your ability to strike when it matters most. And that's exactly when you turn the tables. You see, the most powerful position isn't being feared or admired. It's being overlooked. Because when they don't see you as a threat, they don't prepare for you. They don't strategize against you. They don't see you coming. And by the time they do, it's already too late. The art of using underestimation to your advantage isn't about proving yourself to them. It's about staying quiet while they expose their weaknesses. Let them believe they have the upper hand. Let them feel safe in their ignorance. Watch them grow comfortable in their superiority, thinking they've already won. That's when they become predictable. That's when they start making mistakes. And when the moment is right, you don't just prove them wrong. You dismantle their entire perception of you in a single move. You let them believe their own illusion until it shatters in front of them. And the best part? They did it to themselves. They don't realize it, but every smug remark, every dismissive glance, every moment they overlook you is a gift. They think they're putting you down, but in reality, they're handing you power on a silver platter, because the more they assume you're weak, the less they prepare for you. And the less they prepare for you, the easier it is to take everything from them when the time comes. The key is patience. People who underestimate you are impatient by nature. They want instant validation, instant dominance. They want to feel superior now, without ever questioning whether their assumptions are flawed. But you don't need to prove anything yet. You let them believe what they want to believe, because every second they underestimate you, they're building their own downfall. It starts with small things. They assume you're not paying attention. They assume you're incapable. They assume they're steps ahead, when in reality, you're watching their every move. You're learning their habits, studying their patterns, dissecting their weaknesses, all while they're too busy basking in their false sense of superiority. And that's the beauty of being underestimated. You gain access to information they would never give to someone they consider a threat. They speak freely, unaware that every word is a clue. They make careless moves, confident that you won't notice. They reveal their weaknesses, assuming you're too blind to see them. But you see everything, and when the time is right, you strike. Not with desperation, but with precision. Not with emotion, but with strategy. By the time they realize what's happening, it's already too late. The same arrogance that made them dismiss you is the same arrogance that leaves them defenseless. And in that moment, when they finally see you for what you really are, you don't need to say a word. The look in their eyes will tell you everything. The most satisfying victories are the ones they never saw coming. Not because you screamed for attention, not because you begged for recognition, but because they gave you every advantage while believing they had the upper hand. They made it easy. They walked right into their own downfall, and all you had to do was wait. This is where most people go wrong. When they're underestimated, they get emotional, they react, they try to prove themselves immediately. And that's exactly what your enemies want. The moment you react, you've already lost. Because now, they know you're aware. Now they see you as a threat. Now they can adjust, prepare, and strategize against you. But if you stay quiet, if you let them keep believing their delusion, that's when you truly win. Because they will continue to make mistakes. They will continue to assume you're insignificant, and that illusion will last just long enough for you to build your position, gather your resources, and ensure that when you make your move, it's irreversible. Think of it like a chess game. The best players don't show their strategy in the first few moves. They let their opponent feel in control. They allow small losses if it means a bigger win later. But behind every passive move, there's a deeper calculation, a hidden attack waiting to unfold. And when it does, the opponent never sees it coming. They were too busy feeling superior to notice they were walking into a trap the entire time. That's how you use underestimation to your advantage. You let them feel secure. You let them believe they're in control. And then, when you finally strike, you don't just win. You redefine the entire game. They don't just lose. They're forced to question everything they thought they knew about you. And that moment, that realization, that's worth more than any instant gratification you could have gotten from proving them wrong too soon. There's something almost poetic about watching them unravel. The confidence they once had, gone. The arrogance that made them so sure of themselves, shattered. And the best part, it wasn't because you yelled, it wasn't because you argued, and it wasn't because you sought their validation. No, you let them do it to themselves. This is what people fail to understand about power. It's not about proving your strength. It's about controlling perception. People who underestimate you give you control without even knowing it. They think they're dictating the game, when in reality, they're just pieces on your board. The more they ignore you, the less they protect themselves. The more they mock you, the less they prepare. And when they finally realize their mistake, they're already trapped. See, people who crave superiority are predictable. They need to be admired. They need to feel like the smartest, the strongest, the most important person in the room. And because of that, they can't resist showing off. They'll try to make you feel small. They'll throw their victories in your face. But what they don't realize is that every time they do, they expose themselves just a little more. They show you their ego, their insecurities, their blind spots. And that's what you collect, not trophies, not applause, but knowledge. You take every insult and turn it into information. You take every dismissive glance and store it for later. And when the time comes, you don't attack from a place of anger. You attack with precision, calculated, cold, exact. And here's the best part. When you finally strike, you don't even need to gloat. You don't need to rub it in their face. You just win, silently, effortlessly, while they scramble to understand how it even happened. Because the truth is, the real victory isn't just proving them wrong. It's making them realize they never stood a chance. There's a moment, right before it all crumbles for them, where you can see it in their eyes, the realization, the slow creeping horror that they weren't as in control as they thought, that you weren't the fool they believed you to be, that somehow, without them noticing, the game flipped. And now, they're the ones scrambling, panicking, wondering how they could have been so blind. And that's when you know you've won. Not because you screamed louder, not because you demanded their respect, but because they finally understand, without you ever having to explain it. That's the true power of patience. That's the reward of letting people underestimate you. You never have to force the truth on them. They come to it themselves. This is why silence is your greatest weapon. When people think you're weak, they assume you have nothing to say, nothing to contribute, nothing to fight back with. And because of that, they expose everything. They become reckless. They assume they're untouchable, that they've already won. But what they don't realize is that silence is never empty. It's collecting, storing, waiting. Every dismissive word they throw at you is recorded. Every assumption they make about you is another miscalculation in their plan. And as time passes, they get lazier, more arrogant. They stop thinking about you at all. And that's when you move. Not emotionally, not desperately, but with precision. You strike in a way they can't ignore. And when they finally look at you with shock, with disbelief, with that stunned expression that asks, "How did I not see this coming?" You don't answer. You just let them sit with it. Because the truth is, they were never stronger than you. They were never smarter than you. They only had the illusion of power, an illusion they built with their own ignorance, and when you finally break that illusion, they aren't just defeated, they're exposed. And here's the thing, they'll try to recover. They'll try to act like it doesn't bother them, like they didn't just watch everything slip through their fingers. But the cracks are already showing. You can see it in the way they hesitate, the way their confidence wavers just a little too long, the way they suddenly start watching you the way you once watched them. Because now they're afraid. Not in an obvious way, not in a way they'd ever admit, but deep down, they know. They know they made a mistake. They know they underestimated the wrong person, and worse, they know they can't undo it. See, people who underestimate others do it because they think power is loud. They think it's about dominance, about forcing their presence onto the world. But real power is quiet. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't need to be seen until it wants to be seen. And that's why they never stood a chance. Because while they were busy trying to prove themselves, you were busy studying, learning, calculating, and now it's over for them. Not because you screamed louder, not because you forced them to see you, but because they finally felt your presence in the most undeniable way. Not as a shadow, not as an afterthought, but as the force that just shattered their illusion of control. And what's even worse for them, they have no idea what else you're capable of. Because if you could outmaneuver them this easily, without them even realizing it, what else could you do? What else have you been hiding? What else have they miscalculated? That uncertainty, that lingering doubt, that's what will haunt them. That's what will make them second-guess every move they make from now on. And that is the ultimate victory. Now they watch you differently. The same person they used to overlook, the one they dismissed as insignificant, is now the only thing on their mind. They wonder how they missed the signs, how they let someone they thought was beneath them turn the entire situation against them. And no matter how much they try to brush it off, they can't shake the feeling that they were played. But that's the beauty of it. You didn't do anything loud. You didn't force their downfall. You simply let them walk into their own destruction, step by step. Blinded by their own arrogance, they built the trap for themselves. You just let them believe it wasn't there. And now, they don't just respect you, they fear you. Not because you threatened them, not because you raised your voice, but because now they know, truly know, that you are not what they assumed. And the most terrifying thing for someone like them, uncertainty. They no longer know what you're capable of. They no longer know what else they've misjudged. And that paranoia, it lingers. They might try to regain control, act like nothing happened, Pretend that they still hold the power they once did. But it won't be the same, because every time they see you, every time they think about you, there will be a shadow of doubt in their mind, a hesitation, a fear of making the same mistake again. And that's the greatest revenge. Not anger, not violence, just the quiet, undeniable realization that they were never as in control as they thought, that their power was never real, it was only the illusion of power, dependent on others believing in it. And once that illusion is shattered, they never truly recover. And now the dynamic has shifted. They no longer see you as weak, but they won't admit it. Their pride won't let them. Instead, they'll pretend nothing has changed. They'll act as if they still hold the same power, still carry the same control. But you can see it, the hesitation in their movements, the forced confidence in their voice. They don't trust themselves anymore. Because once someone realizes they've underestimated you, they start questioning everything. Every move they make, every assumption they hold, every decision that once felt easy now feels uncertain. What else did I miss? What else are they hiding? These thoughts eat away at them, making them more vulnerable than they've ever been. And that's where you have the real advantage. You don't need to rub it in. You don't need to chase recognition. You simply keep moving forward while they sit in the wreckage of their own misjudgment. You keep building, keep improving, keep staying steps ahead while they're too busy looking over their shoulder. This is what separates those who win from those who simply seek revenge. Weak people want to prove themselves immediately. They want their victories to be seen, to be acknowledged. But the truly powerful, they don't need an audience. Their success is their proof. Their growth is their revenge. They don't waste time trying to convince others of their worth. They let their results do the talking. And nothing destroys a person's ego more than realizing the person they once dismissed is now untouchable. That no matter what they say, no matter how they try to reclaim their old sense of superiority, it no longer works. Because the power they once had over you, it's gone, and they know it. And here's where it gets even better. Because now they have a choice to make. They can either admit they were wrong, learn from their mistake, and change. Or they can double down, desperately clinging to the illusion of control, trying to convince themselves they still hold power over you. Most will choose the second option, not because it's smart, but because it's all they know. See, people who underestimate others do so because they need to feel superior. It's not about reality. It's about ego. And when their ego takes a hit, they don't reflect. They don't take accountability. They scramble to regain the upper hand, even if it means making even more mistakes. They start overcompensating. They try to belittle you again, hoping to reset the dynamic. But it won't work, because now you see through it. And that's what truly destroys them. Not just losing control, but knowing they can't get it back. That no matter what they do, no matter how they try to frame the narrative, the truth has already settled in. You're not the person they thought you were. And worse, you never were. It was never you who was weak. It was always them, blinded by arrogance, unable to see past their own inflated self-importance. So let them try, let them scramble. Let them embarrass themselves with their desperate attempts to regain footing. It only makes their weakness more obvious. Meanwhile, you stay quiet, focused, unbothered. You don't need to fight for their respect anymore. It's already too late for that. Because the real win isn't in forcing them to acknowledge you. It's in making them realize they should have never ignored you in the first place. And now, you keep moving. Because while they're stuck in the past, still trying to control a game they already lost. You're already on to the next level, the next move, the next victory. And here's the final lesson. The moment they realize they can't control you anymore, they'll try to rewrite history. They'll act like they never doubted you, like they always saw your potential, like they were rooting for you all along. It's pathetic, really. Watching them scramble, watching them try to align themselves with you now that they see your value. But you won't fall for it, because you remember. You remember every insult, every dismissal, every time they looked through you as if you were nothing. And now they want a seat at your table. Now they want to be in your good graces. But you don't owe them anything, not an explanation, not a second chance, not even a reaction. Because the ultimate power move isn't revenge. It's indifference. It's showing them that they never mattered as much as they thought they did. That while they were busy underestimating you, you were busy becoming unstoppable. So you don't look back, you don't gloat, you don't waste a single second trying to make them see the full extent of their mistake. They see it, they feel it, and they'll have to live with it. Because the truth is, the best way to win is to become so undeniable that they have no choice but to acknowledge your greatness, even if it destroys them to do so. And by then, you won't even care. Because real power isn't about proving yourself to those who doubted you. It's about reaching a level where their opinions are irrelevant, where their underestimation wasn't an obstacle, but a gift that allowed you to move in silence, to grow without interference, to rise while they were too blind to notice. So let them watch, let them regret, let them sit in the weight of their own misjudgment. Because you've already won, and the best part? They never saw it coming. Now go. Keep moving forward, and let the ones who doubted you stay exactly where they belong, behind you. Subscribe for more.